The bar on Station Verge 9 had seen many fights before. Broken bottles, smashed chairs, even a few weapons fired in anger, but nothing like what came through the door that night. The creature had to bend low to fit through the entrance. When it stood up straight inside the bar, it reached almost 3 meters tall. Its body was covered in thick scales that glowed with angry red light. The light pulsed and moved across its skin like living fire. Everyone in the bar knew what this creature was. A Vrexian, one of the most dangerous predators in the known galaxy. The bar went silent. Conversation stopped mid-sentence. Glasses froze halfway to mouths. Even the old music player in the corner seemed to lower its volume. Hyunwoo sat in the back corner of the bar. He was on his third drink of the evening. The whiskey was cheap but strong, just the way he liked it after a long day fixing broken equipment on the station. Hyunwoo was an engineer. He had been working on Station Verge 9 for 6 months now. His job was simple. Keep the docking bay machines running. Keep the air flowing. Keep the lights on. It was boring work most days, but it paid well and kept him far from Earth. He looked up when the Vrexian entered. His hand stayed steady on his glass. He did not jump. He did not run. He just watched. The Vrexian was massive. Its body took up nearly half the doorway. 4 arms hung from its torso. Each arm was thick with muscle and ended in claws that looked sharp enough to cut through metal. Its head was shaped like a triangle with dozens of small eyes covering the front. These eyes caught the light and reflected it back in strange colors. Behind the creature, a thick tail dragged on the floor. The tail had bone spikes running down its length. The red glow from the Vrexian scales lit up the entire bar. Shadows danced on the walls. The other customers looked terrified. There were about 20 people in the bar that night. Most were traders or ship crew members. A few were station workers like Hyunwoo. They came from many different species. Tall blue-skinned centaurians, short furry pelgans, even a few other humans scattered around the room. All of them were now very still. Some dropped to the floor and covered their heads. Others pressed their backs against the walls. 2 pelgans near the door scrambled under a table. Everyone understood the danger. Vrexians were born predators. On their home world, they sat at the top of the food chain. Nothing hunted them. They hunted everything else. The creature's mouth opened. Rows of sharp teeth gleamed in the red light. When it spoke, a small device on its chest translated the words into common galactic language. Where is the human called Taiyang? The voice was deep and rough, like rocks grinding together. Where is the one who brought shame to Clan Vrex? The Vrexian took a step forward. The floor shook. Bottles rattled on shelves behind the bar. A glass fell and shattered on the floor. No one moved to clean it up. I know he comes to this place, the Vrexian continued. Its many eyes scanned the room, looking at each face, searching. Tell me where he is. Tell me now. Behind the bar stood Mi-sun. She was the bartender and owner of this establishment. She had run this bar for 3 years. In that time, she had seen many things. Fights, cheats, drunks, even a few attempted robberies. But she had never seen a Vrexian walk through her door looking for blood. Mi-sun kept wiping the glass in her hand. Her movements were slow and steady. She did not look afraid. Her eyes moved to Hyunwoo in the corner. She gave a small shake of her head. A warning. Stay out of this. Do not get involved. Let the creature leave on its own. But Hyunwoo was already pushing back his chair. The legs scraped against the floor. The sound was loud in the quiet bar. Every eye turned to look at him. Including all the many eyes of the Vrexian, Hyunwoo stood up. He was not a big man. Average height for a human. Thin build. He wore simple work clothes. A gray jumpsuit with oil stains on the knees. His hands showed old scars from years of working with tools and machines. His face was young but tired. Dark hair fell across his forehead. He pushed it back with one hand. Taeyang is not here, Hyunwoo said. His voice was calm. Not loud, not challenging, just stating a fact. He left the station yesterday. Took a transport to the mining colonies in the outer rim. The Vrexian's head swiveled toward him. The movement was fast. Too fast for something so large. All those small eyes focused on Hyunwoo at once. The red glow from the creature's scales grew brighter. The temperature in the bar seemed to rise. You know this human? The Vrexian growled. Its tail swept across the floor. Chairs scattered out of the way. You know where he went? I know him, Hyunwoo said. He picked up his glass and took another sip of whiskey. We work in the same section sometimes. He is a good engineer. better than most. Also pretty good at cards. The mention of cards made the Vrexian's glow pulse even brighter. The red became almost purple. The creature took another heavy step forward. Now it was only a few meters from Hyunwoo's table. Cards, the Vrexian repeated. The word came out like a curse. Yes, your human games of chance and lies. Your Tae-yang played cards with my clutchmate. He cheated. He took 10,000 credits through deception. Then he ran before honor combat could be declared. This is cowardice. This is shame. Around the bar, a few people exchanged glances. This was not a new story. Humans had a reputation across the galaxy. They loved to gamble. They loved to take risks. And they were very good at reading other people, reading faces, reading body language, reading the small signs that told them when someone was bluffing or telling the truth. This made humans dangerous at any game that involved psychology. Many aliens had learned this lesson the hard way. Maybe he did cheat, Hyunwoo said. He set his glass down on the table. Or maybe your clutchmate just played badly. Either way, Tae-young is not here, and you are scaring my friends. The Vrexian's roar filled the bar. It was not words. Just pure sound, pure rage. The walls shook. Bottles fell from shelves and crashed to the floor. The music player finally gave up and went silent. Several customers covered their ears. One Pelgan fainted under the table. You dare? The Vrexian bellowed. You dare speak to me this way? I am Vrexian. I am a predator of predators. I have hunted across 40 worlds. I have killed creatures that would eat your entire species for breakfast. What are you? You are nothing. Soft flesh. Weak bones. No claws, no venom. No armor. You are prey pretending to be brave. Hyunwoo looked up at the towering creature. He did not look scared. He did not look angry either. He just looked slightly annoyed, like someone had interrupted his quiet evening. I am an engineer, Hyunwoo said. I fix broken things. Machines mostly. Sometimes computers. Right now I am off duty. Right now I am having a drink. And you are very loud. Behind the bar, Misun's hand moved slowly toward the weapon she kept mounted under the counter, a plasma rifle. Illegal on most stations but necessary in a bar like this. Her finger touched the stock but did not grab it yet. Other humans in the bar began to move. Not in obvious ways. Just small shifts. A woman named Ji-won stood up from her table near the window. She was a cargo hauler, strong arms from loading ships. She moved toward the side exit. Not running, just walking casually. But now she had an angle on the Vrexian's left side. Another human named Dong-hyun stretched in his seat. He worked station security, off-duty tonight but still wearing his uniform pants. He moved his chair slightly. Now he was behind the Vrexian. Not close, but positioned, ready. The Vrexian noticed these movements. Its species had not survived millions of years by being stupid. It saw the humans repositioning, saw them creating angles, forming a pattern without speaking to each other. The prey moves as a group, the Vrexian observed. Its tone changed slightly. Less rage, more curiosity. This is interesting. Most species scatter when I enter a room. They run, they hide, they beg. But you humans do something different. We are different, said a voice from the back of the bar. A young man named Young-soo leaned against the wall near the restrooms. He was a shuttle pilot. You should leave now, while you still can. While this is still just words, the Vrexian laughed. The sound was like breaking stone. Threats? From humans? Your species has been in space for barely 100 years. You have no natural weapons, no advantages. You are the weakest things in the galaxy, and you think you can threaten me. Hyunwoo picked up his glass again. He swirled the whiskey slowly. We are weak, he agreed. No claws, no venom, no armor. You are right about all of that. But we are also the species that looked at the wolves on our home world and decided to make them into pets. We are the species that saw the food chain and did not like our position, so we changed it. We climbed to the top using tools and brains and patience. The Vrexian stared at him, all those small eyes unblinking. We are persistence hunters, Hyunwoo continued. We do not need to be the strongest. We do not need to be the fastest. We just need to keep going, keep trying, keep adapting. That is what makes us dangerous. The bar was very quiet now. Even the Vrexian had stopped glowing so brightly. Something had changed in the room. Something no one could quite name. The air felt different, heavy, charged with possibility, and the night was only beginning. The Vrexian moved closer to Hyunwoo's table. Each step made the floor shake. The creature's shadow fell over the human like a dark cloud. Up close, the Vrexian was even more terrifying. Its scales were not smooth like a snake. They were rough and jagged like broken rock. The red glow came from underneath the scales, from inside the creature's body, like there was fire burning in its blood. The smell hit Hyunwoo next, a mixture of sulfur and burnt metal. It was the smell of a predator, the smell of something that killed for food and dominance. Most prey animals would have run from that smell alone. Their instincts would have screamed danger. But Hyunwoo just sat there, his hand steady on his glass. "You are very calm for prey," the Vrexian said. It leaned down, bringing its triangular head level with Hyunwoo's face. All those small eyes studied him. "Why do you not run? Why do you not beg? Are you stupid, or do you wish to die?" Hyunwoo took another sip of his whiskey. He let the liquid burn down his throat before answering. "I am not stupid," he said. "And I do not wish to die. I just want to finish my drink in peace." "You are making that difficult." The Vrexian's tail swept across the floor again. It knocked over an empty chair. The chair hit the wall and broke into pieces. "Your friend Taeyang owes a debt of honor. He cheated my clutchmate in your human card game. Poker. He used tricks and lies to steal 10,000 credits. Then he ran away like a coward before proper combat could settle the matter." Hyunwoo nodded slowly. "I heard about that game," he said. "Taeyang told me about it last week. He said your clutchmate bet big on a bad hand. Said he could read the tells, the little signs that showed the cards were weak." "Lies," the Vrexian hissed. "Deception. Trickery." "Maybe," Hyunwoo agreed. "Or maybe your clutchmate needs to learn how to play better. Poker is not just about the cards. It is about reading your opponent, understanding their mind. Humans are very good at that." The Vrexian's glow pulsed brighter. The temperature in the bar was definitely rising now. Sweat began to form on the foreheads of the customers. Some of them were slowly moving toward the exits, trying not to be noticed, trying to escape before violence started. But the humans in the bar did not move toward the exits. They moved into better positions. Ji-won had reached the side door, but she stopped there. She did not leave. She just stood with her back to the wall, watching, waiting. Dong-hyun had shifted his chair again. Now he had a clear line to the Vrexian's back. Young-soo pushed off from the wall. He walked casually to the bar and stood next to Mi-sun. "I will find this Taeyang," the Vrexian declared. "I will hunt him across the galaxy if needed. And when I find him, I will tear him apart. Slowly. This is the Vrexian way. This is honor." "That sounds like a lot of work," Hyunwoo said. He finished his whiskey and set the glass down gently on the table. "The mining colonies are 3 weeks away by transport. Then you have to search hundreds of mining stations, thousands of workers, all for one human who took some credits in a card game." "It is not about credits," the Vrexian growled. "It is about honor, about respect. Your species does not understand these things," Hyunwoo smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who knew something the other person did not. "We understand honor," he said quietly. "We understand respect. We just define them differently than you do." The Vrexian straightened up. Its full height was impressive. The top of its head nearly touched the ceiling. "You think you can teach me about honor, you? A weak human with no claws and no strength?" "I am not trying to teach you anything," Hyunwoo said. "I am just trying to have a drink. But since you are here, let me ask you something. What will killing Taeyang accomplish? Will it bring back the credits? Will it restore your clutchmate's reputation? Or will it just make you feel better for a few minutes?" The question seemed to confuse the Vrexian. Its glow flickered, changed colors slightly, from pure red to more orange. "It will restore honor," the creature said. But now there was less certainty in its voice. "Will it?" Hyunwoo asked. "Or will it just make other humans angry? Will it start a conflict between your clutch and the human workers on this station? Will it bring station security down on your clan? Will it solve anything? Or will it create more problems?" Mi-sun spoke up from behind the bar. Her voice was calm and professional. "Gambling disputes are common on this station," she said. "We have procedures for handling them. Forms to fill out, arbitration services, legal ways to get compensation." "I am not interested in your forms," the Vrexian snapped. But the snap had less force than before. "Then what are you interested in?" Hyunwoo asked. "Revenge, blood? Is that really worth 3 weeks of travel and however long it takes to find one human among thousands?" The Rexian's tail stopped moving. It stood perfectly still now. All those eyes were locked on Hyunwoo. The human could feel the weight of that stare, could feel the predator calculating, measuring, deciding. You speak as if you have power here, the Rexian said slowly, as if you have some way to stop me. But you are unarmed. You are alone. You are nothing, Hyunwoo laughed. It was a short, quiet laugh. I am not alone, he said. Look around. The Rexian turned its head, slowly. Its many eyes took in the room again. The humans were all in position now. Not threatening. Not pointing weapons. Just positioned. Jiwon by the side door. Donghyun behind and to the left. Young-soo at the bar with Mi-sun. 2 more humans near the main entrance. Another one by the restrooms. They had surrounded the Rexian without seeming to move at all. 7 humans, the Rexian observed, against 1 Rexian warrior. These are not good odds. For you? Maybe, Young-soo said from the bar. But we are not here to fight you. We are just here to make sure everyone stays calm. Make sure no one does something they will regret later. The Rexian looked at Young-soo, then back at Hyunwoo. You think your pack can stop me if I decide to kill you? I am faster than you think, stronger than you imagine. I could tear through all of you before you reached your weapons. Probably, Hyunwoo agreed. You are definitely faster and stronger than any of us individually. But that is not really the point. Then what is the point? The Rexian demanded. Hyunwoo stood up slowly. He pushed his chair back with his foot. Now he was standing face to chest with the massive creature. He had to tilt his head back to look up at the Rexian's eyes. The point is this, he said. If you attack me, you might win. You might kill me. Maybe you kill all of us. But what happens after? Do you think the other humans on this station will just forget? Do you think they will let you walk away? I fear no humans, the Rexian declared. I am not asking you to fear us, Hyunwoo said. I am asking you to think. Really think. Is this worth it? Is your clutchmate's honor worth starting a war with the human population of this station? Because that is what will happen. Not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually. Humans, remember, we hold grudges. We are very patient, and we are very creative when it comes to revenge. The bar was silent again. Everyone was watching. Everyone was waiting. The Rexian's glow had changed again. Now it was a mixture of colors. Red and orange and even some yellow. The creature's emotions were clearly visible on its skin. Anger, confusion, uncertainty. Mi-sun set a fresh glass of whiskey on Hyunwoo's table. The sound of glass touching wood was loud in the quiet room. On the house, she said. For both of you if you want. No one needs to die tonight over a card game. The Rexian looked at the glass, then at Mi-sun, then at all the humans positioned around the room. Then back at Hyunwoo. Your species is strange, it said finally. You are weak, but you act strong. You are prey, but you do not run. You should be afraid, but you offer me drinks instead. We are practical, Hyunwoo said. He picked up the fresh glass and took a small sip. Fear does not solve problems. Violence does not solve problems. Talking sometimes solves problems. So we talk. The Rexian's claws flexed. Open and closed. Open and closed. A sign of internal conflict. The Rexian's claws continued to flex. Open, closed, open, closed. The creature was thinking. Really thinking. And that was something Hyunwoo had been counting on. Predators were not stupid. They calculated risk versus reward. They measured the cost of every hunt. And right now the Rexian was realizing that this hunt might cost more than it was worth. You offer me drinks, the Rexian said slowly. You talk about consequences and patience. But you do not understand the Rexian way. Honor is everything. Without honor, we are nothing. My clutchmate was shamed. That shame falls on our entire family, on our entire clan. It must be answered. Hyunwoo nodded. I understand that, he said. Different species have different values, different codes. But we are not on your home world. We are on a neutral station, a place where many species try to live together. That means compromise. Compromise is weakness, the Rexian stated. No, Mi-sun said from behind the bar. Compromise is intelligence. It is how different species avoid killing each other every day. The galaxy is big enough for many ways of thinking, many ways of living. The Rexian turned to look at her. Its tail moved in a slow pattern, a sign of consideration. You speak wisely for a bartender, it said. Mi-sun smiled. I have been doing this job for a long time. I have seen many fights, many conflicts. Most of them could have been avoided with better communication, with understanding. My clutchmate lost 10,000 credits, the Vrexian said. That is not a communication problem. That is theft. Hyunwoo finished his second glass of whiskey. The alcohol was warming his blood now, making him braver, or maybe just more honest. Your clutchmate gambled, he said. Gambling means risk. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. That is how it works. But your Tae-yang cheated, the Vrexian insisted. He used human tricks to deceive. Did he? Hyunwoo asked. Or did he just play better? Did anyone see him mark cards? Did anyone see him hide cards? Or did he just read your clutchmate's behavior and use that information? The Vrexian went very still. All those small eyes focused on Hyunwoo with laser intensity. What are you saying? It asked quietly. I am saying that poker is a game of information, Hyunwoo explained. You look at your cards. You look at the other players. You watch how they bet, how they move, how they breathe. All of that tells you things, helps you make decisions. That is not cheating. That is skill. The Vrexian's glow shifted again. Now it was mostly orange with streaks of red. Confusion mixed with fading anger. You defend the one who shamed my family. I defend the truth, Hyunwoo said. If Tae-yang actually cheated, if he marked cards or stacked the deck, then yes. He deserves punishment. But if he just played better than your clutchmate, then the only shame is in being a sore loser. The words hung in the air like a challenge. Several of the non-human customers gasped. To call someone a sore loser was an insult in many cultures. To say it to a Vrexian about their clan was dangerous. The Vrexian's glow flared bright red again. Its forearms spread wide. Claws extended fully. You insult my clan, it hissed. Now you have brought shame on yourself. Now we have a reason for honor combat. But Hyunwoo did not look scared. He just looked tired. I am not insulting your clan, he said. I'm pointing out facts. Your clutchmate played poker with a human. Humans are good at poker. Your clutchmate lost. These are all facts. There is no shame in losing to a better player. The shame only comes from not accepting the loss. Dong-hyun spoke up from his position behind the Vrexian. We have security recordings of that poker game, he said. Standard procedure for all gambling and station bars. I can pull them up if you want. Show you exactly what happened. The Vrexian spun around to face him. The movement was fast, aggressive, but Dong-hyun did not flinch. He just stood there calmly. His hand rested on his belt near where his service weapon would normally hang. But he was off duty, unarmed. Or at least apparently unarmed. Recordings, the Vrexian repeated. You have proof of the game? Every hand, Dong-hyun confirmed. Video and audio. It is station law. All gambling must be recorded to prevent disputes, or to settle them when they happen. The Vrexian looked around the room again. All the humans were watching it carefully, not with fear, with something else, with expectation, like they were waiting for the creature to understand something important, something obvious. You could have shown me these recordings immediately, the Vrexian said, when I first arrived. You could have proven whether the human cheated or not. Why did you not do this? Hyunwoo picked up his empty glass and looked at it. Because you came in angry, he said. You came in roaring and threatening. You did not come in asking questions. You came in demanding blood. When someone is that angry, showing them evidence does not help. They do not want to see truth. They want to see what confirms their anger. The Vrexian's tail drooped slightly, a sign of deflating aggression. You think I would not have listened to reason? I think you are not ready to listen, Hyunwoo said gently. I think you needed to express your anger first. To be heard. To have someone acknowledge your feelings. Now maybe you are ready to look at the facts. Mi-sun came out from behind the bar. She carried a data pad in her hands. She walked slowly toward the Vrexian. Not threatening. Not scared. Just calm and professional. I have the recordings here, she said. Would you like to see them? The Vrexian looked at the data pad, then at Mi-sun, then at all the humans in the room. Its glow had faded to a dull orange now, almost yellow in places. The anger was leaving its body, being replaced by something else. Uncertainty, maybe, or curiosity. Show me, the Vrexian said. Mi-sun tapped the data pad a few times. A holographic screen appeared in the air above it. The screen showed a poker table. 5 players sat around it. 4 of them were clearly non-human. Different species. Different sizes. One of them was a Vrexian. smaller than the one in the bar now. Probably younger. The clutchmate, the fifth player, was human. Tae Yang. He looked relaxed, comfortable, his cards held loosely in one hand. A small smile on his face. The recording played. Hand after hand of poker. The humans in the bar watched silently. The Vrexian watched with all its eyes, studying every move, every bet, every card that was played. Hyunwoo watched too. He had seen this recording before. Donghyun had shown it to him last week when Tae Yang left the station. Just in case something like this happened. Just in case someone came looking for trouble. In the recording, Tae Yang played well. Very well. But there was no cheating, no marked cards, no hidden aces. He just read the other players perfectly. Knew when they were bluffing. Knew when they had good hands. Adjusted his bets accordingly. The Vrexian clutchmate in the recording played poorly. Bet too much on bad hands. Bet too little on good hands. Made obvious tells when nervous. Any experienced poker player would have destroyed him. The recording reached the final hand. The one where the clutchmate lost the last of the 10,000 credits. Tae Yang had a good hand. Not great, just good. But the clutchmate had nothing. Absolutely nothing. And yet the clutchmate bet everything. Pushed all remaining credits into the pot. Confident. Certain. Tae Yang called the bet. Showed his cards. Won the pot. The clutchmate stood up from the table. Knocked over a chair. Shouted something in Vrexian language that the translator did not catch. Then stormed out of the bar. The recording ended. The holographic screen disappeared. Everyone in the bar was quiet. Waiting for the Vrexian's reaction. Waiting to see what would happen next. The Vrexian stood completely still. Its glow had faded to a pale yellow. Almost white in some places. The color of deep thought among its species. The color of someone whose entire understanding of a situation had just changed. My clutchmate, the Vrexian said slowly. He lied to me. Hyunwoo said nothing. Sometimes silence was better than words. He just watched the creature process what it had seen. Watched the anger drain away. Watched something else take its place. He told me the human used tricks, the Vrexian continued. Its voice was quieter now. Less aggressive. He said there was deception. That the cards were marked. That the game was rigged. He came home in shame and rage. He demanded that I restore family honor. That I hunt down the human and make him pay. Mi-sun set the datapad down on a nearby table. Your clutchmate was embarrassed, she said. He lost money in front of others, lost face. It is easier to blame someone else than to admit your own mistakes. The Vrexian's tail swept slowly across the floor, not in anger this time, just in thought. This is not the Vrexian way, it said. We do not lie to family. We do not blame others for our failures. To do so is deeply shameful. All species have members who do not follow their own codes, Young-soo said from the bar. Humans certainly do. We have liars and cheaters and cowards just like everyone else. Being part of a species does not make you perfect. It just gives you ideals to try to reach. The Vrexian turned to look at him. Its many eyes blinked in a pattern that suggested agreement. You are wise for someone so young, it said. Young-soo smiled. I have been a pilot for 10 years. You meet a lot of different people in 10 years. Learn a lot of lessons. The Vrexian looked back at the table where the recording had played. At the now dark space where the holographic screen had been. So my clutchmate was the one who brought shame, it said. Not the human Tae Yang. My entire journey here was based on lies. Hyunwoo stood up and walked slowly to the bar. He gestured to Mi-sun for another drink. She poured it without a word. Your clutchmate made a mistake, Hyunwoo said. Then he made it worse by lying. But that does not mean you did anything wrong. You came here for family, for honor. Those are good reasons. But I came here for blood, the Vrexian said. Its glow was turning blue now. A color that meant sadness or regret. I came here ready to kill, ready to destroy. If you had not stopped me with words, I would have hurt innocent people. Donghyun moved away from the wall. He walked over to stand near the Vrexian. Not threatening, just present. But you did not hurt anyone, he said. You listened to reason. That takes strength, maybe more strength than fighting. The Vrexian looked down at him. Donghyun was not a small man. He was tall for a human and well-muscled from his security work. But next to the Vrexian, he looked tiny, fragile, and yet he stood there without fear. Why are you not afraid of me? The Vrexian asked. All of you. Why do you face a predator with such calm? It is not natural. Hyunwoo took a sip of his fresh drink. Fear is useful sometimes, he said. It keeps you alive in dangerous situations. But too much fear makes you stupid, makes you panic, makes you do things that make the danger worse. We have learned to control our fear, to think past it. How? The Vrexian asked. The question seemed genuine, not challenging, just curious. Ji-won spoke up from the side door. Practice, she said. Humans have been dealing with predators for millions of years. On our home world, we were not the strongest. We were not the fastest. We did not have claws or venom or thick armor, but we survived anyway. We learned to face danger with our minds instead of our bodies. The Vrexian's head tilted, a gesture of confusion. But you are so weak, so fragile. One strike from my claws would end you. How can your mind protect you from that? It cannot protect me from your claws, Ji-won admitted. But it can prevent you from using them. That is what happened here tonight. We did not fight you. We talked to you, showed you evidence, made you think. And now you do not want to use your claws anymore. That is the power of the mind. The Vrexian was quiet for a long moment. Its glow shifted through several colors. Yellow, blue, green, purple. A rainbow of emotions crossing its scales. You have taught me something tonight, it said finally. Something I did not expect to learn. What is that? Misun asked. That strength is not just physical, the Vrexian said. That there are different ways to win a conflict. That sometimes the best victory is the one where no one dies. The creature paused. These are not Vrexian thoughts. But perhaps they should be, Hyunwoo smiled. Every species has something to teach others, he said. And something to learn. That is what makes the galaxy interesting. The Vrexian moved toward the door. Its steps were slower now, less aggressive. It had to duck again to fit through the doorway. But before it left, it stopped. Turned back to face the room. I owe you an apology, it said. I came here in anger. I threatened violence. I disrupted your peace. This was wrong of me. Misun waved a hand. You were lied to by someone you trusted. That is not your fault. You reacted based on false information. Now you know the truth. That is what matters. What will you do now? Young-soo asked. Will you go back to your clutchmate? The Vrexian's glow turned deep red again, but this time it was not the red of rage directed outward. It was the red of anger directed inward. At family, at betrayal. I will return home, it said. And I will have words with my clutchmate. Strong words. He has brought shame not just on himself but on our entire family. On me, he made me travel across space on a lie. Made me threaten innocent people. This cannot stand. What will happen to him? Hyunwoo asked. That is clan business, the Vrexian said. But I can tell you this. He will not gamble again. Not for a very long time. And if he does, he will accept his losses with honor. As our code demands, Donghyun nodded. That sounds fair. The Vrexian looked at all the humans one more time. Its many eyes seemed to be memorizing their faces. I came here thinking humans were weak prey, it said. I leave knowing you are something much more dangerous. You are teachers. You change how others think. You make predators question themselves. This is a power I did not know existed. It is called diplomacy, Misun said with a small smile. We are still learning how to use it. But we are getting better. The Vrexian made a sound that might have been a laugh, or might have been a sigh. It was hard to tell with the translator. I will remember this night, it said. I will remember the humans who stopped a Vrexian warrior with nothing but words and patience. And I will tell my clan about it. Perhaps they will learn from it as I have. We hope so, Hyunwoo said. The Vrexian ducked through the doorway and disappeared into the station corridor. The sound of its heavy footsteps faded slowly, growing quieter and quieter until they were gone completely. The bar was silent for several seconds. Then someone started clapping. It was one of the Pelgans who had hidden under the table earlier. Then others joined in. Applause filled the bar. Not loud or wild, just steady and sincere. Hyunwoo felt his face get warm.
He was not used to attention.
He just waved awkwardly and returned to his table. Sat down heavily in his chair. Picked up his drink with a hand that was now shaking slightly. The adrenaline was leaving his system. The fear he had been controlling was finally showing itself. Misun came over with the bottle of whiskey. She refilled his glass without asking. That was either very brave or very stupid, she said. I still have not decided which. Both, Hyunwoo admitted. His voice was less steady now. Definitely both. I thought for sure it was going to attack me. Thought I was going to die right here at this table. But you did not show that fear, Jiwon said. She had moved away from the door and now stood near his table. You stayed calm the entire time. How did you do that? Hyunwoo took a long drink. Let the whiskey burn away some of the shaking. I kept reminding myself that panic would make things worse, he said. That the only chance we had was to stay calm and make the Vrexian think. So that is what I did, even though inside I was terrified. Young-soo laughed. So you were faking it the whole time? Not faking, Hyunwoo corrected. Just controlling. There is a difference. Dong-hyun sat down at the table. You saved lives tonight, he said seriously. That Vrexian would have torn this bar apart looking for Tae-yang. Would have hurt people. Maybe killed people. You stopped that from happening. We stopped it, Hyunwoo said. All of us. I just did the talking. You all did the positioning. The subtle threat. The backup. It was teamwork, Mi-sun smiled. Humans are good at teamwork. Yes, we are, Hyunwoo agreed. The bar slowly returned to normal. The customers who had fled began to trickle back in. Nervous glances at the door. Quiet questions about what had happened. The Pelgans crawled out from under their table and returned to their drinks. The Centaurians at the corner booth resumed their card game. Life on Station Verge 9 continued, but something had changed. The humans in the bar could feel it. A shift in how they were being looked at. The other species watched them with new eyes. With more respect. Maybe even with a little bit of fear. Hyunwoo finished his third drink. Or was it his fourth? He was losing count. The whiskey was strong and his nerves were still rattled. His hands had stopped shaking, but his heart was still beating faster than normal. The adrenaline was wearing off slowly, leaving him tired and a bit dizzy. You should eat something, Mi-sun said. She placed a bowl of soup in front of him. Steam rose from the surface. The smell was comforting, familiar. You cannot drink on an empty stomach after something like that. Hyunwoo looked at the soup. It was kimchi stew, his favorite. Mi-sun knew that. She always knew what her customers needed. Thank you, he said quietly. Jiwon sat down across from him. She had a beer in her hand. Her face was flushed, not from alcohol, from excitement. That was incredible, she said. I have never seen anyone face down a Vrexian like that. You were so calm, so cool, like it was just another day. It was terrifying, Hyunwoo admitted. He took a spoonful of soup. The heat and spice helped settle his stomach. I thought I was going to die. Thought we all were. But you did not show it, Jiwon insisted. That is what matters. You made that creature think we were in control, made it believe we had the power. Did we have power? Young-soo asked. He had moved to their table as well. Now 3 humans sat together, talking quietly, processing what had happened. I mean, really. If that Vrexian had attacked, could we have stopped it? Dong-hyun joined them. He set his own drink down and considered the question. Maybe, he said. Maybe not. Mi-sun has the plasma rifle under the bar. I have a concealed pistol even when off duty. A few others here are armed. We might have brought it down. But it would have cost lives. Maybe several lives. So we were gambling, Young-soo said. Gambling that we could talk it down before it attacked. Yes, Hyunwoo said simply. That is exactly what we were doing. Playing the odds. Humans are good at gambling. Sometimes we win. Sometimes we lose. Tonight we won. The table was quiet for a moment, each person thinking about how close they had come to violence. How thin the line was between life and death. One wrong word. One wrong move. And everything could have gone differently. Why do we do this? Jiwon asked suddenly. Why do we put ourselves in danger like this? We are not soldiers. We are not trained fighters. We are just workers. Just people trying to make a living. Why not run when something like that comes through the door? Hyunwoo ate another spoonful of soup while he thought about the answer. Because running does not always work, he said finally. Because sometimes you have to stand your ground. Because if we all ran, that Vrexian would have torn this bar apart looking for Tae-yang. Would have hurt innocent people. We had a chance to stop that, so we took it. But what if it had attacked you? Young-soo pressed. What if talking did not work? Then I would have died, Hyunwoo said calmly. But at least I would have died trying to do the right thing. That matters to me. That has to matter. Mi-sun came over to the table. She had closed the bar for the night. Sent the remaining customers home. Now it was just the humans. Just the ones who had faced the Vrexian together. She sat down with a sigh. Long night, she said. Very long, Dong-hyun agreed. I need to report this to station security, Mi-sun said. There are protocols when something like this happens. Forms to fill out, statements to give. They will want to know everything. Will there be trouble? Ji-won asked. I mean, we did threaten a Vrexian, sort of. We positioned ourselves for combat even though we did not fight. Dong-hyun shook his head. No trouble, he said. I know the security chief. She is reasonable. We were defending ourselves and others. That is allowed under station law. Plus, nothing actually happened. No violence, no damage. Just a conversation that ended peacefully. A very tense conversation, Young-soo muttered. Still just a conversation, Dong-hyun said with a small smile. Hyun-woo pushed his empty soup bowl away. His stomach felt better now. The food and whiskey had settled his nerves. He was starting to feel almost normal again. What do you think will happen to that Vrexian's clutchmate? He asked. The one who lied about the poker game? Mi-sun shrugged. Clan justice is private. Outsiders do not usually know what happens. But based on what the Vrexian said, it will not be pleasant. Lying to family is serious in their culture. Very serious. Good, Ji-won said firmly. He caused all of this. He should face consequences. What about Tae-yang? Young-soo asked. Should we tell him what happened? Warn him that a Vrexian came looking for him? Hyun-woo considered this. Yes, he said. He should know. But I think the danger is past. That Vrexian learned the truth tonight. It will not hunt Tae-yang anymore. We'll probably tell other Vrexians to leave him alone too. Will Tae-yang come back to the station? Ji-won wondered. Or will he stay away out of fear? He will come back, Hyun-woo said confidently. Tae-yang is not the type to hide. He will hear about what happened. About how we stood up for him even though he was not here. And he will feel like he owes us. That is how Tae-yang thinks, Mi-sun smiled. That man does love his debts. Always trying to pay people back for favors, sometimes in the strangest ways. The group laughed. It felt good to laugh after so much tension, to release the fear and worry that had been building all night. Laughter was healing. It reminded them they were alive, that they had survived something dangerous. I have a question, Young-soo said. How did you know the Vrexian would listen? How did you know it would not just attack immediately? Hyun-woo leaned back in his chair, thought about the question carefully. I did not know, he admitted. Not for certain. But I know predators. I grew up on a farm back on Earth. We had dogs. Big dogs for protecting livestock. And I learned something from watching them. Predators attack when they are sure of victory, when the prey is weak or trapped or unaware. But when prey stands its ground, when it shows no fear, predators hesitate. They calculate. They think about whether the hunt is worth the risk. So you were acting like prey that was not afraid, Dong-hyun said thoughtfully, making the Vrexian reconsider its assumptions. Exactly, Hyun-woo said. I showed calm, showed confidence, even though inside I was scared. That calm made the Vrexian pause, made it think. And once it was thinking instead of just reacting, we had a chance to reason with it. Human psychology applied to alien predators, Ji-won said. That is genius. That is survival, Hyun-woo corrected. That is what humans have been doing for millions of years. Using our brains to overcome our physical weaknesses. It is the only reason we are still here. Mi-sun stood up and went back behind the bar. She returned with a bottle of soju. The good stuff. Not the cheap brand she served to regular customers. I think we have earned this, she said. She poured small glasses for everyone at the table. What are we drinking to? Young-soo asked. To survival, Hyun-woo said. He raised his glass. To using words instead of weapons. To teamwork. To being human. To being human, the others echoed. They clinked their glasses together. The sound was clear and bright in the quiet bar. Then they drank. The soju burned going down, strong and clean. It was traditional Korean alcohol, made from rice and water and thyme. Mi-sun's family had been making it for generations back on Earth. She had brought the recipe to space with her. Shared it with anyone who wanted to try. You know what the strangest part of tonight was? Ji-won said after her drink. The Vrexian thanked us, apologized, said it learned something. I have never heard of a Vrexian doing that before. Maybe they do it more than we think, Dong-hyun suggested. Maybe we just do not see it because we do not interact with them peacefully very often. Maybe there is more to Vrexians than just being predators. Every species is more than their reputation, Mi-sun said wisely. Humans have a reputation too, for being reckless and unpredictable and too emotional, but we are also kind and curious and creative. Labels are useful, but they are not complete. They do not tell the whole story. Hyunwoo nodded. He felt that truth deeply. All his life people had made assumptions about him, because of how he looked, because of where he came from, because of choices he had made. But those assumptions were never the complete picture, never showed everything he was. I think we changed something tonight, Young-soo said quietly, not just with that one Vrexian, but with everyone who saw it, everyone who heard about it. We showed that humans are not just lucky or reckless. We showed that we can be smart, strategic, peaceful when possible but strong when necessary. Word will spread, Dong-hyun agreed. Stories travel fast on a station like this. By tomorrow morning, everyone will know about the Vrexian who came for blood and left with wisdom, about the humans who faced down a predator with nothing but word. Is that good or bad? Ji-won asked. Will it make others respect us more? Or will it make them test us more? 3 days passed after the incident with the Vrexian. Life on Station Verge 9 continued as it always did. Ships came and went. Cargo was loaded and unloaded. Workers fixed broken systems and maintained the massive orbital platform. But something had changed beneath the surface. Something subtle but important. Hyunwoo noticed it first at work. He was down in the engineering bay replacing a burnt-out power coupling when a group of Centaurians walked past. They nodded to him, actually stopped and nodded. Before the incident, they would have walked right by without acknowledgement. Centaurians rarely noticed humans. They considered Earth's people to be newcomers, too young and inexperienced to matter, but now they noticed. Now they showed respect. Word has spread, said a voice behind him. Hyunwoo turned to see Kwon, another human engineer. Kwon was older than Hyunwoo by about 10 years. Gray hair at his temples, deep lines around his eyes. He had been working in space longer than most. Everyone on the station knows about what happened at Misun's bar. Hyunwoo returned to his work, tightened the coupling with his wrench. It was not that big of a deal, he said. We just talked to someone. Showed them some evidence. That is all, Kwon laughed. That is all he says. You faced down a Vrexian predator, one of the most dangerous species in the galaxy, and you did it without firing a shot, without throwing a punch. Just words and calm. Do you know how rare that is? It was stupid, Hyunwoo muttered. We were lucky it worked. Maybe, Kwon agreed. But luck favors the prepared. You knew how to handle the situation. You understood predator psychology. You used your brain instead of your fear. That is not luck. That is skill. Hyunwoo did not respond. He did not like the attention. Did not like being called brave or smart or special. He was just an engineer. Just someone who fixed broken things and tried to stay alive. The fact that everyone was making such a big deal about it made him uncomfortable. But Kwon was right. The story had spread. By the second day, even people who had not been at the bar knew about it. The details got exaggerated with each telling. In some versions, there were 3 Vrexians instead of 1. In others, Hyunwoo had faced the creature completely alone with everyone else hiding. In the most ridiculous version, he had challenged the Vrexian to hand-to-hand combat and won. Hyunwoo hated that version the most. On the 3rd day, station security called him in for an official statement. He sat in a small gray room across from Security Chief Park. She was a tough woman in her 50s. Former military, she had seen real combat back during the border conflicts with the Krellian Empire. Now she kept the peace on Station Verge 9 with a combination of strict rules and practical wisdom. Tell me what happened, Chief Park said. She had a recording device on the table between them, red light blinking to show it was active. Hyunwoo told the story from beginning to end. Left out nothing. The Vrexian's entrance, the threats, the positioning of the other humans, the recording that proved Taeyang had not cheated, the Vrexian's departure. All of it. Chief Park listened without interrupting. When he finished, she sat back in her chair and studied him. You took a big risk, she said finally. That could have gone very wrong. I know, Hyunwoo said. But it did not, Chief Park continued. And now we have a precedent. A case where diplomatic talking prevented violence. That is valuable. The station council will want to study this, maybe develop protocols based on what you did. Hyunwoo frowned. Protocols? For what? For handling aggressive aliens without violence, Chief Park explained. Right now, station security shoots first and asks questions later when someone threatens civilians. But maybe there is another way. Maybe trained negotiators could talk down dangerous situations before they become violent, save lives on both sides. I am not a trained negotiator, Hyun-woo pointed out. I am an engineer. I just did what made sense at the time. Which is exactly why it worked, Chief Park said. You were not following a script. You were reading the situation and adapting. That is a skill. A valuable one. She stood up and held out her hand. Hyun-woo shook it. Her grip was firm and strong. Good work, she said. You represented humanity well. Made us look smart and capable. The station council appreciates that. Hyun-woo left the security office feeling strange. He had gone in expecting trouble. Maybe a reprimand for putting others at risk. Instead, he got praise. Recognition. It did not feel right somehow. He had just been trying to survive. Trying to protect his friends. He had not been thinking about representing humanity or setting precedents. That evening, he went back to Mi-sun's bar. It was busy. More crowded than usual. Hyun-woo recognized a few faces from that night. But there were also new people. Aliens from different species. They glanced at him when he entered. Some with curiosity. Some with respect. A few with what might have been fear. He found his usual table in the back corner. Sat down heavily. Mi-sun brought him a whiskey without being asked. You look tired, she said. Long day, Hyun-woo replied. Too many people asking questions. Too much attention. Mi-sun smiled sympathetically. Fame is uncomfortable, especially for people who do not seek it. But it will pass. Something else will happen. Another story will replace yours. Give it time. I hope so, Hyun-woo said. He drank slowly and watched the bar, watched the different species interacting, trading, talking, laughing. This was what space was supposed to be about. Different peoples coming together, finding common ground despite their differences, building something bigger than any one species could build alone. The door opened and Tae-yang walked in. Hyun-woo sat up straighter. He had not seen Tae-yang since before the Vrexian incident. The other engineer had been away at the mining colonies. But now he was back. And from the look on his face, he had heard about what happened. Tae-yang spotted Hyun-woo immediately. He walked over to the table and sat down without invitation. He was a thin man with sharp features and quick eyes. Always moving, always thinking, always looking for the next opportunity or angle. So, Tae-yang said, I heard you saved my life, Hyun-woo shrugged. I talked to an angry Vrexian. That is all. That is all, Tae-yang repeated with a laugh. You are too modest. The whole station is talking about it. They say you faced down a predator without weapons. Made it leave peacefully. Some people are calling you a hero. I am not a hero, Hyun-woo said firmly. I am just someone who did not want violence in his favorite bar. Tae-yang studied him for a moment. Then he pulled out a credit chip and set it on the table. 5,000 credits, he said. Half of what I won from that Vrexian's clutchmate. Consider it payment for services rendered. Hyun-woo pushed the chip back. I do not want your money. What I want is for you to be more careful. Maybe stop cheating at cards. Or at least stop playing with species that solve problems with violence. I did not cheat, Tae-yang protested. I just played better than they did. There is a difference. Is there? Hyun-woo asked. Because from what I hear, you are very good at reading people. At knowing when they are bluffing. That is almost like cheating even if it is technically legal. Tae-yang grinned. It is a gift. What can I say? I see things others do not see. And I use that information to win. That is not cheating. That is skill. Your skill almost got people killed, Hyun-woo said. That Vrexian was ready to tear apart the bar looking for you. If we had not shown it the recording, if we had not proven you played fairly, there would have been blood. The grin faded from Tae-yang's face. He looked down at the table. At his hands. I did not think about that, he admitted quietly. I won the money and left. Went to the mining colonies for work. I did not think about consequences, about what might happen after. That is your problem, Hyun-woo said. You think short-term. You see the immediate win, but not the long-term cost. That is going to get you in trouble someday. Maybe get you killed. Tae-yang was quiet for a long moment. Then he picked up the credit chip and put it back in his pocket. You are right, he said. I have been reckless, careless, and it put others at risk. That is not okay. No, Hyun-woo agreed. It is not. So what do I do? Tae-yang asked. Stop gambling. Stop using my skills? I am not telling you what to do, Hyun-woo said. I am just saying think about consequences. Think about who might get hurt by your actions. Make better choices, Tae-yang nodded slowly. I can do that, he said. And for what it is worth, thank you. For standing up for me even though I was not there. For protecting the bar and the people in it. You did a good thing. I did what needed doing, Hyun-woo said, but he felt a small warmth in his chest at the words. Recognition from a friend, acknowledgement that he had made a difference. Tae-yang stood to leave. Then he paused. One more thing, he said. That Vrexian, the one who came looking for me. Do you think it will come back? Hyun-woo shook his head. No, it learned the truth. Knows you did not cheat. Knows its clutchmate lied. The matter is settled. You are safe. Good, Tae-yang said. He looked relieved. That is very good. I do not want to face an angry Vrexian. I am not as brave as you. I was not brave, Hyun-woo said. I was terrified. I just did not show it, Tae-yang smiled. That is the definition of bravery. Being afraid but doing what needs to be done anyway. He left the bar. Hyun-woo watched him go and thought about those words. Was that really bravery, or was it just survival instinct? He was not sure. Maybe it did not matter. 2 weeks after the Vrexian incident, Hyun-woo was working in the lower docking bay when his communicator buzzed. He pulled it from his belt and checked the screen. Message from an unknown sender. He almost deleted it. Unknown messages were usually spam or scams, but something made him open it anyway. The message was short. Written in slightly broken common galactic language. Human engineer Hyun-woo. I am Vrask of Clan Vrex, the one who entered your drinking establishment with fury. I wish to speak with you. Not anger, not threat, just words. Will you meet? Hyun-woo stared at the message for a long moment. The Vrexian wanted to talk. That was unexpected. He thought about ignoring it, about pretending he never received it. But curiosity got the better of him. He typed back a simple response. When and where? The reply came quickly. Observation Deck 7, 1 hour. I will be alone. Hyun-woo finished his work on the docking bay systems and headed to Observation Deck 7. It was one of the smaller viewing areas on the station. Not many people used it. The view was not as good as the main observation deck, but it was quiet and private. When he arrived, Vrask was already there. The massive Vrexian stood in front of the large window looking out at the stars. Its scales were a neutral blue-green color. Calm, peaceful, very different from the angry red glow of their first meeting. Hyun-woo walked slowly into the room. His hand stayed near his communicator, ready to call for help if needed, but he did not think he would need it. Something about the Vrexian's posture suggested this really was just a talk. You came, Vrask said without turning around. I was not certain you would. I was curious, Hyun-woo admitted. Why did you want to meet? Vrask finally turned to face him. Those many eyes studied Hyun-woo carefully. I returned to my home world, the Vrexian said. I spoke with my clutchmate, confronted him about his lies. It was not a pleasant conversation. What happened? Hyun-woo asked. He confessed, Vrask said. Admitted that he lied about the human cheating. Admitted that he lost fairly and was ashamed. The shame made him lie to protect his pride. In doing so, he brought greater shame on our family. Will he be okay? Hyun-woo asked. He was not sure why he cared. The clutchmate had nearly gotten him killed, but he still felt concern for another living being facing punishment. He lives, Vrask said, but he has been stripped of certain privileges. He cannot gamble for 5 years, cannot represent our clan in any official capacity. He must work to restore his honor through service. It will take time, but he can redeem himself, Hyun-woo nodded. That sounds fair. I did not come here to talk about my clutchmate, Vrask said. I came to talk about what I learned that night in the bar. About humans. About myself. What did you learn? Hyun-woo asked. Vrask moved away from the window. Sat down on the floor. The movement was careful, non-threatening. An invitation for Hyun-woo to sit as well. Hyun-woo hesitated, then sat down across from the massive alien. The floor was cold but clean. I learned that strength comes in many forms, Vrask said. All my life I believed physical power was the only power that mattered. That predators were superior because we could kill, because we were strong and fast and armed with natural weapons. But you showed me something different. What did I show you? Hyun-woo asked quietly. That the mind is a weapon too. Vrask said, that words can be sharper than claws, that patience can defeat aggression, that a calm voice can change minds better than violence. These are not Vrexian concepts, but maybe they should be. Hyunwoo was quiet for a moment. He had not expected this, had not expected deep philosophy from a predator species. Your people have survived for millions of years being the way you are, he said carefully. I am not saying you need to change, but we do need to change, Vrask insisted. The galaxy is bigger than our home world. There are other species, other ways of thinking, other forms of power. If Vrexians do not learn to adapt to understand these things, we will be left behind. We will become irrelevant. Is that what you really think? Hyunwoo asked. Or is that fear talking? Vrask's scales rippled with colors, yellow and blue and green. Maybe both, the creature admitted. I am afraid that my people are too rigid, too locked into old ways of thinking. The galaxy is changing fast. New alliances, new technologies, new ideas. We Vrexians still think like we did 10,000 years ago. Hunt, kill, dominate. But that does not work anymore in a civilized galaxy. So what will you do? Hyunwoo asked. I am starting a program, Vrask said, back on my homeworld. A training program for young Vrexians, teaching them about other species, about diplomacy, about solving problems without violence. It is controversial. Many of my people think it is weakness, but some agree with me. Some see the value. Hyunwoo felt surprise and respect bloom in his chest. That is brave, he said. Going against your culture like that. Trying to change things, you inspired it, Vrask said. You and the other humans that night. You showed me that there was another way. That violence was not the only answer. I want to share that lesson with my people. Will they listen? Hyunwoo asked. Some will, Vrask said. Others will not. But I have to try. For the future of my species. For the future of the galaxy. We cannot keep solving everything with claws and teeth. Eventually, that will lead to our extinction. They sat in silence for a while. Two very different beings. One a human from Earth. One a predator from a distant world. But in that moment, they were just people. Just individuals trying to understand their place in a vast and complicated universe. Can I ask you something? Vrask said finally. Of course, Hyunwoo replied. Were you really that calm that night? Or were you afraid? Hyunwoo smiled. I was terrified, he admitted. More scared than I have ever been in my life. I thought you were going to kill me. Kill all of us. But you did not show that fear, Vrask observed. No, Hyunwoo agreed. Because showing fear would have made things worse. Would have encouraged attack. So I controlled it. Pushed it down. Let my mind work instead of my emotions. How did you learn to do that? Vrask asked. That level of control? Hyunwoo thought about it. Practice, he said. And necessity. Humans have always been physically weak compared to other predators. On our homeworld, we were surrounded by animals that could kill us easily. Big cats, bears, wolves, even insects that carried deadly poison. We survived by being smart, by controlling our fear, by working together. It is part of who we are now, built into our culture. Vrask's scales glowed soft purple. A color Hyunwoo had learned meant deep respect. Your species is remarkable, the Vrexian said. Not because you are strong, but because you are adaptable, flexible. You can be warriors when needed, diplomats when needed, engineers and artists and philosophers. You can be anything the situation requires. That is true strength. We are just trying to survive like everyone else, Hyunwoo said. We are not special. You are special, Vrask insisted. You just do not see it because it is normal to you. But to others, to species like mine who have one way of being, your flexibility is extraordinary. It is power. Hyunwoo did not know what to say to that, so he just nodded, accepted the compliment. Let it sit between them. I should go, Vrask said. He stood up slowly. His full height was still impressive but no longer frightening. I have a transport leaving in 2 hours. Need to return home and continue my work. Hyunwoo stood as well. Good luck with your program, he said. I hope it succeeds. Thank you, Vrask said. Then the creature did something unexpected. It extended one of its 4 arms, offered its massive clawed hand in a gesture Hyunwoo recognized. A handshake. A human custom. Hyunwoo reached out and took the hand. It was huge and rough and warm. The claws were careful not to scratch. They shook once. A connection between species. Between individuals who had started as enemies and ended as something else. Not quite friends. but not enemies either. Something new, something hopeful. Maybe I will see you again someday, Vrask said. Maybe, Hyunwoo agreed. Vrask left the observation deck. Hyunwoo stayed and watched through the window as a transport ship undocked from the station an hour later. He did not know if Vrask was on that ship, but he liked to think so. Liked to imagine the Vrexian returning home to change minds and build bridges. That night, Hyunwoo went to Misun's bar again. It was becoming a habit. His usual table, his usual drink. But now he looked at the room differently. Saw it as more than just a bar. Saw it as a place where different species came together, where understanding could grow, where the future was being built one conversation at a time. Ji-won came over and sat with him. You look thoughtful, she said. Just thinking about the galaxy, Hyunwoo said. About how big it is, how many different species there are, how hard it is for everyone to get along. But we do get along, Ji-won said. Most of the time, anyway. There are conflicts sometimes, misunderstandings, but overall the different species manage to coexist. That is pretty amazing when you think about it. It is, Hyunwoo agreed. And maybe humans can help with that. Help bridge gaps between species. Help find peaceful solutions to problems. We are good at that. At seeing multiple perspectives. At adapting to different situations. You have been talking to someone, Ji-won observed. Who was it? Hyunwoo smiled. Just a friend. Someone who taught me something important about humanity. About what makes us special. And what is that? Ji-won asked. That we can change, Hyunwoo said. We can learn. We can grow. We can face down predators with words and turn enemies into allies. That is our real strength. Not our bodies, not our weapons, our minds, our hearts. Our ability to connect with others even when they are very different from us. Ji-won raised her glass. To humanity, she said. Weak and fragile and absolutely unstoppable. Hyunwoo clinked his glass against hers. To humanity, he echoed. Outside the bar, Station Verge 9 continued its eternal rotation. Ships came and went. Different species worked and lived and argued and laughed. The galaxy turned. Time moved forward. And somewhere in the vast darkness, a Vrexian predator was learning to teach instead of hunt, was spreading a message of peace instead of violence. All because of one night in a bar when fury met calm and changed its course. The future was uncertain. It always was. But Hyunwoo felt hopeful. Felt like maybe things were getting better. Maybe the different species really could learn to understand each other. Maybe violence really could be replaced with words. Maybe the galaxy really could become a better place. It was a nice thought. A good thought. And as Hyunwoo finished his drink surrounded by friends, he decided to believe in it. Decided to hope. Decided to keep being human in all the best ways possible, because that was what humans did. They hoped. They tried. They never gave up. And sometimes, against all odds, they succeeded.